Biden called for tripling tariffs on Chinese metals like steel, aluminum, stuff like that. So Joseph Robinette Biden called for tripling tariffs on Chinese steel and aluminum Wednesday when he spoke to union members in Battleground, Pennsylvania. So when you wonder how this is happening, just remember it's always the
unions.
Unions. They are the downfall of America. Yes, that is correct, Charlie. Everything comes down to the unions. That's what it. In remarks at the headquarters of the United Steelworkers, Biden said that China was cheating in its steel trade practices and that the Office of U.S. Trade. Now, get how they're stealing. It's cheating. Sorry. They're subsidizing their steel industry. Now, I get it. Here's the idea. They're going to subsidize their steel industry and make it so cheap that we have to buy steel from them because it's so much cheaper. That's going to put American steel workers out of business. It's going to kill our ability to create steel here in the U.S. And then they'll go out of business. And then China's going to, they're cornering the market. They're a monopoly. Yeah. Actually, this is unfair practices that they're doing. I think the word cheating is kind of funny when we also subsidize tons of industries here in the U.S. You know, tons. Like a lot.
All of them.
So that's a little weird. Biden is in the middle of a 3-day swing through this state, focusing on economic issues, while his opponent, former President Donald Trump, faces jury selection in New York and his trial on charges that he falsified business records to cover up an alleged affair with an adult film star.
Well, so Biden's on the campaign trail. His opponent, his political opponent,
is in court.
Because
he has to be. Because, well, we don't have to get into the whole court thing, but it's a great election technique, you know. You just get the Justice Department, you know, to go after Trump for all kinds of stuff and keep him in court throughout the entire year.
I don't know why other countries haven't thought of this.
I know.
You know,
jailing your political opponents.
Tying them up in court.
That's crazy. The Biden administration says China's overproducing goods to export to the U.S., driving down prices and hurting the American economy because higher quality U.S. products must compete with the artificially low-priced alternatives. For too long, they've been pouring state money into Chinese steel companies, pushing them to make so much steel as much as possible, subsidized by the Chinese government, Biden said Wednesday. They're not competing, they're cheating. They are cheating, and we've seen the damage here in America. Why do you think companies would rather buy from China instead of buying from America? I mean, maybe they're just subsidizing and it's making the price really low, right? And then also U.S. steel, probably really expensive. Do you think it's more expensive than it would need to be?
Yes. Because of unions.
Because of unions,
yes.
Yeah. And probably government regulations and stuff like that too. But mainly unions.
Mainly unions.
We know that. It's mostly their fault. The average tariff on steel and aluminum from China is 7.5%. Asked by NBC News whether he was concerned the new steel tariffs would hurt his relationship with Xi Jinping, Biden said he wasn't. He also said, let me see. He also said that these actions will not increase inflation, but they will protect American jobs and the steel industry. Now, I have to question that. I know you're not supposed to question authority, but if the entire thing here is that China's steel is cheaper, leave out any reason, maybe they're manipulating the market, subsidizing, whatever. Chinese steel is cheaper. American steel is more expensive. And so we're going to put tariffs on the Chinese steel to make it more expensive. And either consumers or producers who are consumers of these goods will buy the more expensive now Chinese steel with the tariffs on it, or they'll buy from American steel,
which is still expensive.
Maybe
raising
even more
the prices
expensive
for
producers, which then will raise prices for consumers because all of the input prices to all of the things went up. And you get one sentence in this NBC News article from a quote from a guy saying, this is a senior administration official saying, this is not going to increase inflation.
Even though the price is going to go up.
Literally, like the point of this, the outcome, if you do this perfectly, the outcome is things will be more expensive. That's literally the outcome. No one argues that.
Yeah.
It's actually they're not going to fight me on that. It's like, so stuff's going to be more expensive. They go, yeah.
It's not like you're going to put a tariff on Chinese steel and then all of a sudden U.S. steel becomes cheaper.
No, No, it's the same price. In fact, it doesn't have to compete as hard anymore. It's actually got a reason to get even more expensive and calling for even more tariffs on Chinese steel. The only outcome is that things get more expensive. But
every building.
But that's not every building, every car,
Coke can.
every exactly. Yeah. I mean, we've already got plenty of inflation on our Coke cans.
How are people supposed to get diabetes now?
I don't know.
You know,
that's going to make it more difficult.
They're going to be able to afford their diabetes.
How are you supposed to get heavy metal poisoning?
I don't know.
No.
How are you supposed to make swords?
This literally will increase inflation. It's okay. Let's not say.
Hey, look, let's think about this though. This will probably increase the price of guns, which will reduce the purchase of guns, reduce guns in America. This is how we solve gun violence.
There you go. That's what it is. It's a gun policy. Okay. That makes sense. That tracks for sure. In other news, by the way, Biden is probably doing this because tariffs are one of Trump's main talking points. And so Biden is coming in. Now,
so the fight's going to be in these swing states. So in these swing states like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin,
remember, Trump wants to win the union votes too.
Yes, because they want the blue collar votes. That's what they want. So that's kind of what turned the election in 2016 and what turned the election back in 2020, essentially. And so to go after these swing states, they're trying to win that blue collar union work vote.
And Trump's trying to do that, and Biden sees that, and he's like, oh, well, I'll do tariffs also. And the unions are going to love it. And it's going to help me get more union support, and that's going to help me in the election. That's probably why he's doing this in an election year. Yet again, I talked about, I think,
isn't it crazy, though, that you're like, they can introduce these policies just to try to win re-election, but it has serious effects on your life. Like, their whole goal is just to win re-election.
That's it.
But the outcome of these types of things, like, decides whether or not your family can, like, eat or not.
Like, everything.
It's insane.
Everything gets more expensive.
Yes.
An airplane gets more expensive. A train gets more expensive. A Coke can gets more expensive. A car.
Which for Boeing, they might need to get more expensive.
They probably should.
Yeah.
Probably should do a better job on that stuff. It's probably just price gouging has been their biggest thing. Profiteering. They're taking too much profits, not caring about quality.